Alright, hello everyone. This is the psychic prediction video for June 2022. For June, I see this being a very nice month, a month of exposing the truth, of showing your true colors, things of that nature. When I tuned into June 2022, the first thing that I saw was Joe Biden somewhat celebrating Navy ships in particular, and something about focusing his attention back on the United States rather than on Ukraine, and shifting his focus more in that direction and less so even internationally around the whole world. And this seems to be somewhat because of things not working out exactly how he wanted, or there being kind of like a stale, stagnant situation worldwide. So he's refocusing on the United States and celebrating the United States. There may be something specifically about U.S. Navy ships that he may be celebrating. I did get the sense that Joe Biden is looking happier than he has been for the last couple months or so. And there's something about a new sales pitch that he's pitching, kind of like switching things up to create a new positive outlook. However, what's going on behind all of that is that I see Russia actually controlling most of the southern shore of Ukraine in particular, really controlling that area and stabilizing it. And I believe it's the southern and the eastern border of Ukraine they've basically taken over now. And so what they're doing coming up here in the next month is really dominating those areas and setting up shop, so to speak. I do see Ukraine in the month of June losing some of their power, not being as strong as we've been seeing so far. However, in the second half of the month, I see Ukraine make a slight comeback, but there's still, they're still not really dominating. I do see Russia ultimately winning in that regards. I don't see them taking over the whole country, but I see them taking part of Ukraine, especially the southern part of Ukraine coming up here in June. However, I also see that there's less action in the month of June coming up here than previously in any other month. I do see potentially after June and July, things could ramp up a little bit more with activity with the battle between Ukraine and Russia. But it seems that this will be more of the slow month as far as battles go for the month of June. Putting all that aside, focusing on the energy of the month coming up here for June, I get it's a very fun, playful energy for the world in general. It seems very positive. There's a bit of what I've talked about in the past, this awakening going on, humanity awakening on some level, and that just means that there's lots of energy shifts taking place where people are shifting their perception and being able to see through things that they weren't previously able to see through. So I get that this is happening very strong for the month of June, very high frequency month. There's energy coming to the earth that is the energy of novelty, you could say, which is basically change. And in a specific way, though, this has to do with the divine truth within an individuality or within an individual and individuals really learning to use their creativity and tune more into their creativity, but in a very authentic sort of way. I also was getting something about individual studies and people having personalized interests that it showed up to me as alchemical. So interests that are, in some sense, more alchemical, less mainstream, less academic, and more so like personal studies that you wouldn't necessarily use for your career, but that you find interesting for yourself. Those types of things seem to be driving people coming up here for June, but in a very unique way where people are, it's like mixing together in a melting pot. You could call it like a sea of people. Like if there's like the ocean of everyone, and everybody's just kind of floating around in this big ocean, and everybody's able to express their individuality in a group sort of way, if that makes any sense. It's like a potluck. Like there's lots of people showing up to a potluck, everybody's mingling, but everybody brings their own personalized dish that they made. So everybody contributes their unique individual dish to the whole of everyone around. So again, I'm getting lots of celebration for this month. There's a sense of the water element seems to be a theme here. The fluidity of people's individuality. There's a lot of new creative ideas coming up in June, so I would use this time to take advantage of that. These are going to be your authentic, deep desires coming to light. I saw a chart of how this energy plays out throughout the month, and last month I said that things would be, maybe I didn't say this, but either way, whether I said it or not, things will be kind of shifting towards the end of this month, which is right now, already ramping up. But anyways, this energy is going up, and it has like a fast increase at first, and then it has a secondary big bump up about halfway through the month, where it reaches its peak of this novelty energy, these like changes in perception going on within the general public. And then halfway through the month, it kind of dives back down again to about where it was at the beginning of the month or so. And so the second half is where the grim realities set in, and we have to face and overcome the things that stand in the way of us really fully living these expressions that we're learning to express in the month of June. So bringing these new ideas into completion and to full maturity and to actually materialize them into your reality. There's some obstacles in the way, and the second half of the month is where you run into these obstacles. So, it may seem negative, you may feel hopeless, but just remember that this is part of the growth that is necessary to really have the things that you want in your life. And if you never face this, you'll never get past it, and you'll never have those things. So you have to do the work. So there's a lot of awakening to the spiritual purpose in the first half of the month, and then the burden of the physical reality the second half of the month. So when I tuned into Earth events in general, besides for the energetic updates, besides for the awakening, if you want to call it that, that seems to be really taking effect. June should be an exciting month. Besides for that, the only thing that really showed up for me when I tuned into it was this fiery energy in Africa, and I saw it as fire symbolically, um, and it just seemed like there may be some heat, so to speak, and there could be shortages of food or something along those lines in Africa. Besides for that, Bitcoin, I've made some videos about Bitcoin recently, so I will post those below this video so you can check out those links and watch the full videos on my Bitcoin predictions. However, I do get the sense that this going into June here, the first week may be great. Well, maybe not great, but great relative to the last couple weeks. But I do see it also dumping down halfway through the month, and that being a potentially a really good spot to buy it if you're waiting to buy it before it goes back up. And I see it going back up towards the end of the month. Most likely take this all with a grain of salt. I could be wrong, and this is not investment advice. Anyways, when I tuned in for June 2022, what is good for the month, what I got was water. So just being around water, and the reason for this is because water can be very cleansing, refreshing, renewing, and there's something about this month being about showing a new side of yourself. So adventures was coming up. Other themes for this month are fun, games, creativity, and experiencing these things in large groups of people. Being guided by your inspiration. So, don't miss this opportunity if you feel inspired by something. This is a great month to express that. So don't let it go by, is my advice. Being your new self, showing your new face, so to speak. This is the month for that. This is the month where that will be happening naturally, and it's a good time to take advantage of that and really let your true colors show. However, there's also a necessity to be a little flexible with other people because everybody's going to be doing this simultaneously, like the big ocean that I was talking about, the sea of people. So you want to kind of flow with it. Again, the water element comes up for this month. This month is bad for being the only one, and that's exactly word for word how it came through to me, was being the only one. So being the only one at fill in the blank isn't necessarily the best thing for this month. I'm not saying that it's going to be the end of the world if you're the only one doing something, but you shouldn't be striving for that energetically. This month is less rewarding for those types of behaviors than it is for others. I also got that this month could be bad for stocks and the stock market, or being too much to yourself. Again, this is about being in the sea of people. And also this month is not good for perfectionism or perfect pictures about how things should be. Again, the sea of people, the fluidity, the flexibility, all these things are necessary. So to kind of summarize the month, this month there's going to be a lot of clarity coming in. People are going to be able to see through the BS, so to speak, and this is going to be on many different levels. This is not just like, worldwide what's going on in the world. This is that, but it's also seeing through the BS of people's, false presentations of themselves, and basically people will just be leaving inauthenticity behind. And so it seems like a very exciting month. I'm excited for June coming up here. Being yourself in a crowd of people, also playing the same game of authentic playfulness is how I would summarize it. So people are going to be playful. They're going to be authentic. They're going to be themselves. And you're going to learn to be yourself. But you're all going to be doing it together. And it sounds interesting to me. So my advice would be show your true face this month. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.